Hello everyone! Welcome back to my channel and I'm super excited to have a chat with you today. Today we're gonna do a little bit of a different video because I will be redoing cover art Positions by Ariana Grande, The Archer by Alexandra, Refuge by Charlotte Jane, and The Way You Felt by Alec Benjamin. I think it's EPs and singles and albums. Not a lot of times there is albums with an image that is altered. I mean, there are a lot of albums like that, but usually it's very like clean and nice and all like graphic-y. I haven't double checked the facts, so don't come at me if I'm wrong. I really like that Ariana Grande took monochrome kind of vibes with green and pink and put it as her album cover, which I feel like a lot of bands, musicians don't do. The shot is taken by Meyers, who's a big photographer in LA, as I assume. Then I was checking The Archer by Alexandra and I was like, who took this picture? And I saw that the picture was taken by Trippe, and let me tell you, she's my favorite photographer. I feel like if I'm going towards any kind of direction, she is that direction. I feel what she feels when she takes those images. I feel the emotions that are captured in those pictures and the edits and everything. She influenced a lot of my work alongside with Neil Krug. I think I've been influenced a lot by 5 Seconds of Summer photographer. I can't remember his name now. They're really great photographers. I really like all of them. And then I couldn't find a moved to a picture of Charlotte Jane's single, which is really upsetting. And The Way You Felt by Alec Benjamin. It's taken by Matty Vogel, who shoots for Billie Eilish mostly. I mean, that's how I know him, and he's also a really great photographer, very talented. Probably doesn't do a lot of crazy stuff, but I mean, he did Alec's cover. So, and also, I'm not a big fan of any of those albums. I mean, I love Ariana, and I really like Alexandra. I think she sounds similar to Lana Del Rey, which is, I don't know, it's okay to say that, but it is how it is. Don't really like crying poppy songs, but that doesn't mean that I don't like the cover arts. We could get into it, and I found some similar pictures for most of them, except for Ariana Grande, because I assume that they did the same shoot, it's the same photographer. So I assume that this one was edited, and it looks like it's taken on film because of the green and pink. And I just took this picture because it's gonna be easier to get the same result, and I want to explore how they did it. And I personally think that they just made it monochromic and then chucked in curves, and I think that is literally it. So let's do that. And I think they maybe use some blur. This picture is so pretty. I mean, it took me 2 minutes. It's already here. And it's really good back. The thing is that whites are way more poppy and blacks are faded. Come on, I didn't think it's gonna be that simple. I thought that that's gonna flip somewhere and I'm gonna be like, oh shit, I actually don't know how to do this. She has like just a little bit of red. I feel like this blur is a little bit different, and it's the lens blur more than it is Gaussian. But for lens blur, we need to rasterize the layer. Like, lens blur gives that out of focus, which makes you feel like it's taken on film, because in film pictures are usually out of focus and it has the dreamy vibe. Yeah, that's it. I think it's pretty similar. So for Alexandra, I selected this picture. I think that they are pretty similar with the original colors. I'm not really sure how this looked original. This one is a little bit too bright. I'm actually curious because my first idea how this picture was made is that it is originally black and white. And this is just, maybe. There is some spots here that are black and white, but I think that maybe it's with masking on top of it. So let's leave this one for later, and then let's use selective color, because reds are definitely made yellow, and there is as well greens for the black, because you can see a little bit greens in the shadows. Editing is my favorite exercise because I love figuring out things in Photoshop, how people made that, how they adjusted, and how, you know, one thing influences the other. Moving select color to the top, that means that the curve's redness is now affected by selected color red. Definitely her shadows are green, and then let's take yellow, like golden kind of orange. Yep, yellow does not work, and a good idea would be to separate these layers so I could easily remove maybe red because we adjusted it. In this picture, it's really visible how these colors are different. Here it like looks green and red, but there is no like patches of it. Does not look the same at all. I think it's quite similar. Not really, but I think you can't make it really similar because like this is not an original picture. So why it was easy to make it for Ariana Grande, because it was the same shoot, the same background, the same shadows, and it was just original, which was edited, and this one is not original. But the idea I think is the same, just playing with curves. Definitely I think using brushes. It has way nicer shadows. The shadows are actually black, but this picture doesn't really have any shadows because her face is not really covered on the other side. But she doesn't have shadows on that side because of her hair. And her eyebrows are different color. It's just a little bit shit version of the actual cover art, but idea is there. I think this one's gonna be pretty easy. I'm pretty convinced that this picture was taken with film, which is infrared, and then edited. Her dress was originally this color, so I was trying to pick the same color, and so I think this thing is just to change greens. We go and select those greens, and as well I would love to avoid changing her skin tones. There's no blue water to deal with. I mean, the grain is probably from the pictures, but we can just chuck some grain on. As well, good idea would be to put on a little bit of a lens blur, but just slightly, so it wouldn't be that visible. I think it's kind of similar pinkish red. I mean, if you want to make it even more the same or something like this, press the command button. It is font. I have a collection. My S is falling, command and down arrow. We love that. This is this. I think it's, you know, again, just like the other one, it's different pictures, so you can't expect it to be the same. This doesn't have water, and her dress is different color. But the trees look the same to me. Maybe checking in some levels could do as well, because these levels are, I mean, shadows are a little bit like stronger in blackness and faded. And we have the last one, which I am excited about. It's Alec Benjamin. I think this one's gonna be the hardest one. This is definitely, I think, has double exposure, but I saw a couple of pictures from that shoot and it seemed to be in the studio, white studio. What I just realized, I think that this is maybe 3 double exposures. Looks like this blue sky and then trees. So let's go and find some trees. Yeah, this one's definitely gonna be the hardest. It's double exposure, so it's hard to find equivalent pictures to make it as this one is. I think it's very blurred. And my thoughts are that he removed these stems. Because it's blurry, I don't think you really care about how perfect it is. And the last is kind of like this texture because it has some hatches and scratches like here and here. Sweet. That's kind of similar. I think the idea is like that. I think there is a great chance that he used sky separately or like the solid color that overlays the picture and then used his own short flowers, which were, you know, maybe nicely placed on the blue background without the stems, and he blurred them. But I think that the principle of creating that image is to overlay, and the picture was blurred and it was actually flowers. Maybe he made up, but I think it looked quite similar to the original. I really like doing this. I never try and go in Photoshop and recreate pictures because I don't see the point of doing it, but I definitely do think about it a lot because that fascinates me. I feel like the possibilities are endless and you can create and recreate everything. It's just a matter of knowing how different things affect each other. If you'd like me to recreate or explain any kind of covers that are photography related, please let me know in the comments below because I really enjoyed it and I would love to create some more. If you like the video, please, like, subscribe. It really helps the channel to grow and be reached by others who have never heard about me. And also, I created Patreon. So if you'd like to support me, do not hesitate to check my Patreon. I linked it in the description box below, and I have great benefits for those who subscribe and support me, and I'm very excited about moving on with my journey on this YouTube platform and the wide internet. Yes, that's about it. I am very happy to have you here. I thank you for your time and I will see you next week. I love you.